Well, it happened. I usually try to avoid it, but these things can happen, and they have happened. I recorded 39 minutes of me just going balls to the wall on, I would say, great topics, great conversation that was happening, and my volume was off. My microphone was turned off. I usually check it. I didn't check it this time. And I just started talking and talking, and I went down some really relevant paths. I'm kind of upset about it, but it's actually a really good idea. It was practice. Getting over it. Let's move on. With Kevin Sorbo has allegedly been deleted from Facebook because he put the hashtag I'm with Gina Carano, and I want to put this first because it's going to go into other things as well. It's sort of going to be the basis of what we're going to be talking about. Kevin Sorbo, he was the captain in Andromeda. He was Hercules in the Adventures of Hercules. I don't know if that was the name of it. He had a few cameos. One of them, no, Seventh Heaven was something else. He was a guest star on Psych in season 2, I believe. And he has had an acting career. Let's just keep it at that. So breaking: Facebook has deleted my official account with over 500,000 followers. I have created a new page. Spread the word, and it has roughly about 1,500 posts as of this recording. So I want to establish that first before we get into the Gina Carano thing. The second thing that I would like to establish is the Daily Wire. The start of the Daily Wire used to be with these 4 people down below, or at least 3 people, with Ben Shapiro, Andrew Klavan, and Michael Knowles. I think it was originally just Ben Shapiro and Andrew Klavan. They brought in Michael Knowles later, and then Matt Walsh being I believe a writer or a columnist on their show. Then he started doing his thing, and then Candace Owens. They're connected to PragerU, etc. It used to be political commentary, specifically with conservatism, right-wing talking points and such. The Daily Wire has then moved recently, within, I would say, the last 6 months. They've probably been planning this in the last year or two, of wanting to make, both with Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro being the co-founders of the Daily Wire, have decided to make the Daily Wire a media production company. Rather than a political commentary company, they want it to be a media production company. That's what you're seeing right here is Run, Hide, Fight. And the basis of it is an active school shooting, and they wanted to make a film about it. There is a conversation between the producer, the director of the film, and Ben Shapiro on Ben Shapiro's Sunday special. It's about an hour long. I would highly recommend going and watching it. It's actually a pretty good talk about video production, the business of creating movies and trying to get a return on your investment, the budget that you have to deal with, the actors and actresses behind the scenes, what they wanted to do with it, why he wanted to produce this type of movie, and the reason as to why he wanted to do an active shooter movie. It's actually kind of fascinating. I don't want to spoil it. I would highly recommend for somebody to go and actually watch it. It's not just the movie, but go and watch the talk with Ben Shapiro and the creator of the movie. And I think it's a pretty good idea. It's not for me. I empathize with many things, and I know I have a very addictive personality. I go down dark roads sometimes. And because of that, I have addictive personality. If I watch a movie, if I watch a TV show or a pilot, I might not watch it again for another 6 months until I'm really in the mood for it. But when I'm in the mood for it, I'm going to watch it until I'm done. So I'm going to watch all the seasons, all the episodes. And I watched Law & Order SVU, the really weird effed up crap. I watched that when I was probably 12 or 13 or 14, and I watched it and I watched seasons. I watched it for 12 or 14 12 seasons, maybe up to 17 seasons. I remember when, who's the actor? Oh, I am going to be so beating myself up if I'm not. Robin Williams. Robin Williams was a guest star, and he didn't play a funny guy at all. He played a very serious guy. It was difficult for me to see him as a non-funny guy, but he made creepy work because we know him being funny in the real world. So that was kind of interesting. But I wanted to preface those two things because we now have a story that's been blasted out from everywhere, and I want to actually point that out as well. Media shocked Gina Carano fought back as her movie deal with Daily Wire goes viral. And I want to go down below and read this first paragraph, and then I want to go and point out some things within the article itself. 2 days after Gina Carano was reportedly axed by Disney in what critics allegedly was a political motivated hit, and for anybody who's still curious about who Gina Carano is, Carano? Carano. Corona. My Corona. Who Gina Carano is and maybe why you should even care. What happened with The Mandalorian, which is a TV series under Disney Plus subscription series, or feed service, is a Star Wars-based universe. Within the Star Wars-based universe, The Mandalorian TV series, 22 minutes each episode, they're moving on to Season 3. Within the last 6 months, there has been some transition of Disney trying to move Gina from the company, from the series, and they've even replaced one of the posters with Gina on the Mandalorian poster. They've actually they've replaced her with another female of the show. That's just one little tidbit that I think is very important. They've already been planning and wanting to get rid of her. She's been very vocally active on Twitter, posting some things of, hey, my Twitter bio pronouns are beep, boop, bop, making fun of the ziz type of pronouns that people were saying that this is the most important thing of my character is that I have these pronouns. And it's like she was just making fun of that. She might be conservative. All I know from my experience, from what I've read, from what I've seen, and from what I've heard, is that she has been speaking truth to power, and that usually makes you a conservative nowadays, regardless of whether or not you are a classic liberal, not a modern-day liberal, or what I would like to call is a cult follower. Again, very difference between a classic liberal, which is a conservative nowadays, and a liberal, modern-day liberal, which is a cult follower. Drink the Kool-Aid. If you don't, you must be an unkind person, thus we can get rid of you, and you must apologize like Justin Timberlake coming out and saying that me, as being a white male, having succeeded, I'm so sorry for my success. Justin Timberlake is a cuck. He's a beta boy. He is a horrible person. I'm okay. I would love to say that to his face. You are not a role model. Shut the hell up. If anything, if you really want to practice what you preach, remove all the money and assets that you have and give it to other people. Oh, then it's just words. Please, everybody, listen to my words and then we can all feel happy, but I'm going to keep all my wealth. It's like, okay, then you don't really practice what you preach, and this wealth distribution that you're really like, whatever, shut up. Gina Carano was fired because of her political leanings on Facebook. Not just because she was politically active, because Pedro Pascal has stated specifically that any and all Trump supporters, and there's actually a meme that goes with this is more of a summation of the meme, all Trump supporters, all people who are MAGA specifically, M-A-G, Make America Great Again, which for the longest time I had no idea what the BLT actually stood for until I was like 15. I was made fun of when I was like 9. Like, what the hell is a BLT? And then somebody in school said, like, you don't even know what a BLT is? And they started laughing. They never told me. Or no, I think they told me. Yeah, I didn't feel good that day. Bacon, lettuce, tomato. I didn't know what that meant for the longest time. And when I was younger, and I think it was in middle school, I came to school in all green, and I said, I'm wearing camo. And I was like, you're not wearing camo, dude. I was probably 12. I don't know. I had a very ignorant childhood. I had a life. I had a life before today. Who knew? But all MAGA supporters are Nazis. Not you are kind of like Nazis. He was literally attributing any and all losers to white supremacy, Nazis. Well, you're a MAGA supporter. Today, you're the losers. You're the losers. You're just losers. That's what he was saying. And that's politically motivated, that's politically charged, that is false, it's wrong, but because Pedro Pascal is the right affiliation in his politics, he's allowed to stay, and he's continuing with his job. Gina Carano had a season 3 lined up. She had a spin-off series with Lucasfilms for her own headline stardom, and she also had something else. I'm trying to think of what that was. That might be it, at least to my knowledge. It's all gone. She was fired. They were planning to kick her out because of her vocally active conservatism. This really does come down to that. So 2 days after Gina Carano was reported, reason for all that is there is a double standard with her firing. That's the issue. She was fired for being conservative. I would say she's more. It doesn't matter what her politics are. She was speaking truth to power, and her last post was about, hey guys, let's stop unpersoning each other. And the reasons that the Jews were able to round everybody up, the Jews were allowed to be rounded up, was because the people around them said, you're not a person, we get to beat you and harm you because you're not a kind, loving person, you don't have the same political beliefs that we are, you're not us, you're not a person, move away, go away, you're not a person that has, if you're not a person, you don't have the rights, you don't have rights because you're not a person. Same thing with, probably going to piss some people off, but it's the same way with abortion, it's the same way with the slaves. You are not a person, you don't have any rights. Don't claim that you have rights. You don't have personhood. You're not a person. That's what's happening right now. So being a conservative in today's modern culture, because culture, entertainment, education, name one place in which conservatives reign supreme. Nowhere. What are you fighting against? Liberals? What are you fighting against? The people fighting against the system? You're fighting against liberalism. You're fighting against modern day liberalism. Communism, corporate structures, that's not capitalism. Corporate structures that are in league and selling all their information to the other most powerful companies in the world who also embed with government. Wow, that doesn't seem like free markets at all. It's just a fascinating life in which we live in right now. 2 days after Gina Carano was reportedly axed by Disney, again, the reason for the issue, the reason that Gina Carano being the main talking point, the representation of the culture right now, is that she was axed by Disney Plus, having things aligned. Also her agency was actually dropped her as well. So she was axed from Hollywood, not just from Disney. And it was a double standard from her firing, because Pedro Pascal was also saying some very horrible things online, but they still haven't done anything with him. They're still going along the lines. There's some Disney Plus subscriptions that were allegedly just being hemorrhaged out from Disney Plus cancellation subscriptions. And we won't see that for a while. It'll probably be a few weeks. It'll probably be a few months. Maybe it'll be tomorrow or 2 days. We don't know, so we just kind of have to sit back and relax, focus on other things until we know what the information actually is, what the outcome is. In what critics alleged was a politically motivated hit, which it was, the Daily Wire announced that they will be partnering with the former Mandalorian actress, who was Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, who will produce and star in an upcoming film exclusively for Daily Wire members. This is why this is so awesome. She had, for the last few months, people on Twitter have been going after her, and her fans have supported her. Her fans have been propping her up. Her fans have been trying to fight back the toxicity on Twitter with positivity. Drown them in kindness. That's pretty much what was happening, but just surrounding by Gina Carano and propping her up and saying, we love Gina Carano, we are with Gina Carano. And she's kind of just the representation. She literally is just a pivot point. She's a stepping stone. She happens to be in a position in which, if it wasn't her, it would probably be somebody else. But the fact that it is her, she has an MMA background, she's been in a few movies, she has fighting experience, and that fighting experience is really good with that type of fighter mentality of, oh, I got knocked down, I'll get back up. I got knocked down, I'll get back up. I got knocked down, I'll get back up. That's the type of mentality that we need right now. I think Gina Carano is a lovely person. I think she's a fetching woman. She has a fighter mentality, and she's feminine. That's awesome. She is a feminist. She is the picture perfect feminine icon, feminist icon. But because she is conservative, she's evil. If you want to have babies, you're evil. If you believe that you have the right to self-protection, you're evil. It's like, whoa, we might have wait, what? Kind of going down the wrong path, so let me get back on track. Going down a wrong rabbit hole there, or a long rabbit hole, if you know what I mean, ladies. So, so what has happened is that she has gone viral. Like it or not, she's gone viral. So from the Daily Wire, of course, Disney Plus. Any person that has actually been following Disney Plus and been following the news with that, Reuters, Variety, TMZ, USA Today, Daily Mail, Hollywood Reporter, Los Angeles Times, NBC News, CNBC, The Independent, Huffington Post, The Hill, The Daily Beast, The New York Post, Insider, Entertainment Weekly, The Wrap, Complex, CBR, Uprocks, Pink News, Decider, Sacramento Bee, The Week. She's gone all over the place. People are talking about her. And the issue with current modern day entertainment is that there are a bunch of people. Let's just attribute half. Half. It could be much less. Let's just go with half. Half the people in Hollywood right now who work with Lucasfilm, who are scared to speak up because they know that they'll be fired as well. They are all governing around the principle of one basic philosophy, one quote I despise when it comes to police officers specifically, and you'll know what I mean. And then lawyers, I want to get into that. Like, well, what are you talking about lawyers? No, hopefully it's going to make some sense. Police officers who use this one quote bug the crap out of me. It's rather evil because you're allowing bad things to happen because of convenience. I'm just doing my job. That's the issue. It doesn't matter of whether or not your job requires you to do good work, whether or not the order that you are carrying out is a morally good one, whether or not it's ethical, whether or not there's justification for it, whether or not you're on a legal basis for doing it. You've been told to go and do it, and your excuse is, I'm just doing my job. That allows evil to prosper, and when you say it's not my fault, why is it not your fault? Well, it's just my job to carry out this bad action, and if bad things come from it, I'm just doing my job. It's like saying, well, whatever. Oh, did you know that, I didn't feed your pets and they died this weekend? Whatever. Or you could say, it's just my job. My job was to go out and care. I'm a hitman. I go and I kill people. That's my job. Why are you stopping me from my job? It's just my job. It's nothing personal. I'm doing nothing wrong. It's just my job. They're not carrying the spirit of the law. They're following based off primal primitive needs that we all have, that my food, my water, my shelter, my family, my communication, my structure, and even social acceptance, regardless of whether or not they actually like you, social connection. You can have a very effed up social connection. Speaking about abused wives often try to protect their abuser because of a social dynamic that's happening in their head. Not saying it's a good activity, not saying that they're the reasons that why they're being abused. I'm saying that it's one of the reasons why abused women will defend their abuser, because they don't want to get outside of a very uncomfortable situation. It might be uncomfortable now, but the fear of it being more uncomfortable, of like, I don't want him to find out, that's an issue that does happen. Not blaming the woman, I'm not victim blaming. I'm simply describing an activity that happens in the head, in the brain and the psyche of the person. Or that thing that at least, it happens. It happens. It's the same thing with lawyers. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Lawyers often talk about, are often able to skew the word and verbiage of the law, the letter of the law. They are able to play with the letter of the law. They do not play with the spirit of the law. For example, with the Second Amendment, you have the right to bear arms. It doesn't actually mean bear arms, which would be kind of fascinating. I would love to have some bear arms on me all the time. I would rather just have a live bear follow me everywhere. I want a pet bear. You know what? That's one thing that I would love to sanction the city for everybody around to have a pet bear. But polar bears are out of the question because that would be very unfair. I made a rhyme. Oh, man. So I also wanted to bring up the spirit of the law being so vital. The spirit of the law is what is important. Regardless of what access to firearms you are legally able to have, you have the right to self-preservation, self-protection. More importantly, the right to protect others as well, but you have a right to protect yourself. At what age, at what firearm, to what capacity, there could be some legal issues there, but the spirit of the law is that you have the right to be alive. People who have a lot of money, who are allowed to have guards, who have guns themselves, doesn't mean that you're not able to. It's one of the biggest issues with current modern-day politics. There's lots of politicians who are lawyers who bend and twist the law into their favor, not caring the spirit of the law. They are trying to do it with their own expediency. They're trying to do it with their own volition towards their own end, rather than the spirit of the law applying to any and all people that are citizens of the country, locality, etc. So what's happening right now is that the people that are not speaking out, they are doing so with their base needs probably needing to be met. If I speak out, it'll get worse. I'm not as big as Gina Carano. Where will I go? What will I do for food, water, substance, social connections? What people that I might be afraid of coming out, there's probably going to be more perceived pain if I do so. So why would I try to do it? I'll just continue working at Lucasfilm, and even though they hate conservatives, and even though this is going to be my fate later on in life, if I don't say anything, I can still get money, and I can still do stuff behind the scenes. The people at Lucasfilm right now are not favoring anybody. Anybody who loves Star Wars and wants good Star Wars to exist, I think you are in luck that good Star Wars, I don't think will be going away anytime soon. There may just be a lot of bad Star Wars that will be coming out. If you want to just talk about Star Wars, talk about Star Wars. We'll move on. Okay. Now going back to the topic, is that Lucasfilm, more importantly, Disney, because they are in the exact situation as Activision Blizzard. Blizzard was an independent game company that had World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, and Heroes of the Storm, and other ones as well. I think there was another game. Overwatch. That's the other one. And Overwatch. They created a bunch of games. The company was sold to Activision, was bought out and paid for by Activision, which usually hollows out a company and tries to make as much bang for their buck. And one fortunate thing with Blizzard is that they of all the people that they hollowed out of the company, the original company, a lot of the creativity has kind of gone by the wayside. They're bringing in a company to remaster a lot of their old games. They did it greatly with Crash Bandicoot, so there's going to be a lot of great content with Blizzard Entertainment, a lot of great content that's going to be coming back with remastering. Warcraft 3, that was another one. The Warcraft, what is it called? NCIS? what is it called when you're at that bird's eye view looking around? FPS game. I don't know. That's a shooter. I don't know. But right now, Disney, being the parent company to Lucasfilm, this is the type of corporate structure that exists. This is not going away anytime soon unless Kathleen Kennedy and major structural changes are made within Disney's structure and Lucasfilm. Activision, I think, will be able to continue making a cash cow out of their current intellectual properties, but I don't think it's never going to be at the same state as it was. It's the same thing with Star Wars. Star Wars is on its way out. It doesn't mean that it's gone. It's on its way out. This is a slow burn, a slow death until something changes. More importantly, Kathleen Kennedy, which is surprising to me as to why she is existing at all in the company. Definitely because she has some ties. Definitely because of a woman, because how dare you fire a feminist? How dare you fire a woman, because that would be sexist and misogynistic. So, Gina Carano is going to be making a company, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire's prefacing that first. She's going to be producing a movie. And one thing that I highly recommend is checking out the Daily Wire. If you'd like to join, I think there's a pop-up to give you a little discount of 25% off. I'd highly recommend going and seeing the Daily Ben Shapiro's episode today, which is on the 2nd of February, the 12th of February, 2021. And I also wanted to bring up Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo publicly came out in support of Gina. 500,000 followers gone. The guy has no connection on Facebook. Well, he made a new page, but his original one was nicked, gone, nipped in the butt. The culture is going to continue fighting against you. It is the Death Star. They are the Sith. They are the overlords of the world right now. The thing is, you are an X-Wing. You are an independent. You can move quicker and faster and have greater agility than the people at the very top. When it comes to running a business, or let's do it this way. We could not just this business. I want to get that analogy. This will be the last two analogies, and then we'll move out. You can start a business. Starting a business gives you a bunch of leverage in your favor. There's a lot of things that you do not have in favor of with, like resources and connections. But when you start out, you have agility. You have the availability of making a decision, and your entire business changes with you within the matter of seconds. If you have two people with you, good. That you have agility. You can change. You can maneuver. You can adapt quicker than large businesses, because large businesses have people who are trained a specific way to focus and deal with certain things. The corporate structure has to take time, weeks, into changing certain structures, making plans in advance of what's going to happen, and they have so many more logistics to deal with. But when they change, they are a powerhouse. The thing is that you, as being an X-Wing fighter against the Death Star, you have agility, you have the availability of posting something, you have the availability of being quote-unquote independent. Don't just post to YouTube, post to something as well. Post to mines, post to locals. There's trying to think of what that one blockchain social media site is. I don't remember the top of my head. I think I have it on my library somewhere. Who knows? But the culture is shifting. The culture is changing. We are so in a losing battle. But the thing is, if we keep fighting, we will win in the end. But we have to keep fighting. And the fighting part is not violence. The fighting part is just stating truth to power, connecting and making connections. Ben Shapiro called Gina Carano the day she was let go. He had the wherewithal, he had the training, he had the intuition, he had the action-oriented thought process of when it comes to running a business, and said, I want to hire you. I want you to come work with me. These people don't appreciate you. Come right this way. Good for him. That is awesome. Agree or disagree? I feel like I missed out on an opportunity years ago when I could have made big monies. And it's one of the things that I would love to do. Is I want to eventually make my own video or media production company. I'd love to create little short stories and create this little universe in which people can engage with, and we can also share it with maybe an extended universe in some other capacity, and maybe have a here's $10,000, or if like you have the right making a raffle or something. It's like post your small. Make a small little video or plot point, make a small video in your capacity, and then the winner, based off the people who vote for it, which the audience, the fans, they will choose who comes with us, and then we'll try to, or like maybe a top 10, and then we get to pick from the top 10. That'd be kind of a cool way of doing it. Anyways, those are just ideas. There's many things coming from this. Gina Carano is just the representation of what's currently going on in culture right now. She is a pivot point. She is a stepping stone to where it will be going. We don't know what's happening with Disney Plus subscribers. I believe that they are being hemorrhaged right now because they just did something so stupid, and they did it so publicly. I think they were thinking it would just go under the radar and they will continue moving on. I do not think that Disney Plus actually thought that this was going to happen, the backlash. I really do think that Disney Plus was thinking, we'll just get rid of her, it'll maybe spark some outrage, and then we'll move on. But they were wrong, because the fans spoke out. You are the rebels. So let's fight. And let's fight for something. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. Please hit that. Please smash that like, subscribe, and share button link because that would greatly help the channel out. Plus, you'll get some notifications if you hit that bell button. And most importantly, I will see you next time. Bye bye.